This is why we're here today. DIT has had a history of teaching fellowships. We had some money left a few years back from a SIFT project, and we were looking for ways in which we could spend the money, and it seemed a really good idea to establish teaching fellowships. These are slightly different from seed-funded projects in that they were nominated or determined by the colleges. They were linked into strategic plans which were of a priority within each of the colleges, and they helped to inform practice within each of the colleges. Over the years, we have supported 55 teaching fellowships, and they're always worth a read because there's a wide range of subjects included within the teaching fellowships, and they're available through Arrow. A couple of years back, we decided that we would change the strategy round about teaching fellowships to do something more holistically across the whole college rather than individual college-based activities. And we instigated a call for a team teaching award to address some of the issues that have been raised round about assessment and feedback within the DIT. As everybody be aware, it is a challenge to manage assessment and feedback effectively across programs and across an institution. And one way to do something about that was to involve a project team and looking at all the documentation, all the feedback that we'd received from students, and then putting forward a set of recommendations that we could put into practice across the institution. This project, the successful project recipients were led by Zini Motier, and many of us in DIT certainly are aware of Zini's work. I think the strength of the project application that came over to the review panel was this holistic thinking and this representation of academic staff and students from across all of the different colleges to work together and come up with a set of recommendations. So it's near the end of the project at the moment, and just talking to Zini and talking to the project team is going to be a really useful set of recommendations arising from that. So on the basis of that, it was decided when we were looking to develop a curriculum framework for the TU to use this model because it seemed to be a scalable model that would be appropriate to all three institutions. It was collaborative, and it was going to engage everybody, all the key stakeholder groups, including ourselves in the centre, including students, and see where we could come up with something that would really work effectively for all programme teams, because this is a major project. So the more collaboration, the better. So we put out a call, managed to get some funding from within the DIT, and also contributions from Tala and Blanchardstown, which we're very grateful. The call has gone out for project teams to submit a 12 or 18-month project, and we're looking for the project team to develop a curriculum framework and an implementation plan. We're aware that this is a significant project, it's a significant piece of work, and if you look at parallels in other institutions internationally, you'll be aware that this kind of activity is one that's done incrementally, and to do it really effectively, it takes time. It's a change management project. So it is really important. That's why we have to have such really good people involved in terms of the teaching fellowship project. What we wanted is just to capture the richness and the diversity of what the TU is going to look like, and we have a lot to contribute. We have a very good foundation in all three institutions of which to build, and everybody can contribute to this. And I think a key element of this process, and I think that's one of the reasons why we went to a Teaching Fellowship Award, it needs to be collaborative by nature. Everybody needs to feel as if they're involved in some way, and they can relate to this curriculum framework in the future. And that's all stakeholders. That is students, it's all academic staff, it's all professional services, it's employers, everybody that's going to be involved in that. And that needs to be integral within the project proposal. And this is core, as I say, to everything that we do. It will impact on all programs. So what are we meaning by the curriculum? And we could spend quite a lot of time going around definitions between frameworks and design, etc. But certainly to the development team, we are considering the development of curriculum in the broadest sense, because it isn't just what happens in formal spaces, it's the informal spaces, online. It's about being involved in clubs and societies. It's the richness of activities from when it's GAA or involvement in clubs and societies, going out in workplace, working together with community groups, working together as peers, as other students, etc. It's all of that, and we need to capture that richness within whatever is prepared in terms of the curriculum framework. We have a lot of research, and we'd be instrumental in helping academics from the centre to look at what is current and see what actually works. We're much more aware over the last 20 years of what does work effectively. And there's a lot of work, for example, around about student retention and various other aspects of curriculum design. And key within this is the whole concept of engaging, generating a sense of belonging. Engaging is an active learning process, but engaging with stakeholders, engaging with colleagues, etc., as part of a sort of student retention and success program. It's also about the development and the capacity. It's learning and building on internal capacity, and it's developing students as autonomous learners. So they are empowered when they go out into the workplace afterwards. They have the key skills, the graduate skills, and have the reputation as a TU graduate as something that is in demand and desirable. And I've put some into place as global citizens, as active citizens with the key sort of skills to succeed in the future. But it's also it's an institutional commitment. It isn't just about the LTC or you as a programme team. If we're going to do this, it needs to be integrated into all systems, the quality assurance processes, staff development, it needs to be rewarded. Everything needs to be adopted within this curriculum framework, or else it isn't really going to work. So we have to everybody has to buy into it. So that's why it's important that there's a really extensive consultation phase within this particular process. Some of you will be familiar with the curriculum framework, which we use as a basis for some of the initial discussions round and about what a curriculum framework would look like. And I've just put this example up here because it kind of captures some of the elements of the activities which the TU is engaged with. Core concepts within this are about building learning communities, about creating this new type of graduate that I was talking about. It's about the enriching educational experiences, maybe not necessarily, as I say, in the classroom. It could be online, working with students and communities, or etc. And it's about building this internal knowledge of capabilities as we're developing skills based around about, say, learning analytics. Are there interventions that we could utilise to make student experience enhance? Are there crucial times where we need to be working with students to help them to succeed? What would it look like? Well, some of the elements that we looked at previously are around about a curriculum that is connected. It's not disjointed modules. Students can see there is a clear connection through themes, multidisciplinary themes, and it could be between assessment, across disciplines, or content. So they can see where they are in terms of a learning journey from when they sign up to a programme right the way through and after they become alumni. The whole enriching educational experiences, all these things that we're really good at, the community engagement, engaging with international students, clubs and societies, etc. So that there is an active process. And we've thought about putting in these kind of activities within that actually is timetabled elements within the programs as connections modules, for example. Could be another term, but they're actually seen to be as important that they're actually integrated into the curriculum. They're not seen as additional bolt-on activities. Those are key strengths, and what makes our graduates so strong is this concept of professionalism and of inquiry-based learners. We want our students to be engaged. We want them to be entrepreneurs. We want them to be curious. All these graduate attributes that we also espouse towards. So where is that actually going to happen within the curriculum? What kind of activities? What are we going to reward? What are we going to be seen to value? We also need to have a global perspective of internationalising the curriculum, partly because many of our graduates are actually going to work abroad, maybe for a period of time and return. We're now attracting, I think it's about a quarter of our students are now international students. So how are we making the most of this diversity? We have a great strength and diversity within different students with disabilities who know that they'll be supported within our three institutions and help to achieve their potential. And the new type of graduate, what is actually that going to be? How is it integrated? How will students get feedback in the development of these graduate attributes or key skills within the curriculum? How are they going to get assessed? It's the only way in which students can see if something is being valued, if it's integral within a programme. And core at the bottom, I suppose, with all of the activities that we promote is this concept of learning communities. There's a lot of research around it about the support for first-year students, this whole sense of belonging. So it's a sense of belonging as part of a first-year cohort, but also as part of the DIT or Blanchardstown or Tala. It's also being part of a community of a professional body or a discipline. So our curriculum needs to consider all of those aspects of it. So what will a TU Dublin curriculum framework look like? I'm going to pass over to my colleague Claire.